been able to teach others, like literally have changed people's businesses. We were literally talking about this yesterday. You've been able to go in and change people's businesses that are already doing well, right? Yo, what up, everybody? What's going on? Science of Flipping family. Welcome to another training. I have a very special guest. He is a close friend of mine. I've known him for a very long time, Mr. Scott Oots. What up, dude?
Going on, man? How are you?
I'm awesome. I am awesome. We were just talking before we started this recording. It's been one of those days that you kind of look up and you're like, holy hell, where'd the day go? So
yeah, I feel like this year's been about 6 months so far. So
that's right. That's right. I'm with you, bro. I am with you. So far it's been an awesome year. It's great to reconnect with you. I actually brought you on for a very specific reason. And for those of you just getting started, or maybe you are trying to scale your business or at least do more volume, I brought on Scott for you. He and his business partner and manager have really learned and scaled the ability for sales and negotiation. And I had the pleasure last year spending a better part of a day with him, his entire team, and I was able to watch them of what they do in their office down in Southern California. And when I tell you, it's a pleasure for me to have you on here, brother, it really is, because what you have done and how you've been able to scale volume of deals and deep negotiations is incredibly impressive to me, dude. So I'm really happy that you've been able to come on here and give some advice to the peeps.
Yeah, thanks, man. I appreciate having me on.
Yeah, well, you brought to attention to me that we got a little surprise for you here in a moment, but like you brought attention to me that you were going to go help other people learn what you guys do. And I'll tell you, I spent a better part of a day with your team and I learned a ton. I have my trusty notebook, right? Like I was there, I was watching Mike, I was listening to him on the calls. I was like legit learning with you and your team. And I know you've actually taken not just your ability to do hundreds of deals a year in Southern California, but you've actually taken your team and your ability to scale sales and negotiation into other markets, right?
Yeah, that's been the biggest thing we've worked on. I think we finally cracked the code about year and a half ago with that, is trying to train up other people to duplicate me and Mike and how it is that we do sales, because we shoot for the highest spread we can possibly get. And I mean, this year alone, we've got over $300,000 spreads that have been in just in January alone. So we've been able to really work with those sellers to find the right sellers, but then also be able to negotiate that. And I think that's one thing that we've been able to do really well as a team. We were horrible at it at first, but we were able to really crack that code and get to that point.
Yeah, I think, one of the things, you did 3 $100,000 wholesale fees, right? Like that's not a rehab fix and flip. You're talking about wholesale fees?
Correct, yeah.
Listen, people tell you all day, including myself, I'll tell you all day our fees are getting crunched, whether it's the sellers who are more knowledgeable, whether it's, the competition in the market, whether it's the economy, whatever, right? Like Open Door and OfferPad and everyone else that are in my market. I'm still one of the people still saying like, hey, it's a dog eat dog world. You are fighting and scraping. I used to be able to knock down $20,000 wholesale deals like nothing. Now we're fighting and scraping for $10,000 to $12,000 wholesale fees. And you're currently, literally today is January 13th. You're talking about you've already knocked down $300,000 wholesale deals this year.
Yeah, so January was actually a record month for us for business. I mean, we basically hit our whole quarter goal for Q1 in January by like the 25th. So I guess I set the goal too low. So we got to go back and revisit that. But, I think that Southern California is one of those more competitive markets. We have all those open doors and stuff like that. But, we have a ton of competition. And what we wanted to do is we're really trying to figure out how we can succeed above that competition. Really, it comes down to sales, right? When you're out there doing the acquisitions or you're talking to someone on the phone, that person has to want to do business with you. And we've been able to make it so even if we're $20,000 less, in a lot of cases, people will still sell to us. So that's what we've done a really good job of trying to work out with potential leads and lock them up into contracts. But, you know, a lot of people go, lock up the contract, ask for a price reduction later. Our spreads are large enough that if something happens, we typically can just take it out of our wholesale fee and we still come out good. So we're not going back and asking for that reduction unless something major comes up. But we've done a good job really negotiating with those sellers to make these spreads as large as possible, but still be fair to the seller with what they're getting.
Yeah, I think that what you just ended on is a lot of reason, you know, why people get a little about sales is they feel like they're taking advantage of a person in a situation. And, you know, I'm one of those people that really tries to educate people on not to do that, right? Like you can still get a good deal while not being, you know, taking advantage of someone that's in a difficult situation. So I know that about you. I've known you now for the better part of almost a decade. I mean, six years or so. And, you know, and I know how you train your guys and your team. And again, like I said, like I literally was sitting there in awe with how your team is on the phone talking to these individuals, what they're saying, the questions they're asking, you know, their ability to listen. Like I literally sat next to Mike and he asked a question and then didn't talk for the better part of probably 5-10 minutes. And I was just like, and I couldn't hear, you know, he had a headset on. I couldn't hear what the seller was saying, but like to be able to ask a question and shut the fuck up is not easy for people to do.
It's
right?
really, yeah, especially when it's 10 minutes, you know, like you sit there and you say something and it's dead silent for 10 minutes. I love when Mike does that to sellers, but I hate it when he does it to me. So,
no doubt.
Stop, like just talk. Like, you know, the next person that talks loses. And I'm like sitting here like, all right, I don't have time for this. So when he does it to me, it irritates me. But when he does it to other people or my team's doing it, we love it because it really gives people that opportunity to think about what it is we're saying. And a lot of times they'll say, are you still there? Well, yeah, we're still here. And then we put it back on mute and just sit and wait. And it's gone a very long time before, but it's a good tactic to use.
Absolutely. And that's just one little tactic. And I know you've actually been able to replicate what your team does in other markets, right? And talk a little bit about that, how you've been able to teach others, like literally have changed people's businesses. We were literally talking about this yesterday. You've been able to go in and change people's businesses that are already doing well, right? This isn't just stuff that you guys are using like that a newbie could use. Like you're taking people who have been in the business for a long time and still increasing revenue and profit per deal.
Yeah, Dallas, Texas was our new market. So that one there we hopped into, loving it. We've got actually 3 more markets we're hopping into this year, which we just nailed down, just getting our infrastructure in place for that. But Portland, Oregon, my buddy Joe went in there. Joe has a great business already. We went in there and did some tweaking with him, trained up the sales guys, definitely had a lot of success there with him. So we enjoy doing that. I mean, it's difficult to go into somebody else's business, right? Because that person already has a certain way they run things, how they do things. And we're in there almost stepping on their toes saying, no, let's shift this. Luckily, Joe's one of those people that's like, all right, do it, you know, but there's a lot of people that don't want people doing that. So yeah, that was fun. But I mean, for us, I'd love to see what we can do and take someone that is doing either minimal or somebody that really just strives to do more and try to help them, you know, make their life better, get more income and things like that. And that's a passion of mine. It has been for a long time. So that's why we kind of started talking to you about what we got going on.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a great segue to just talk about, you brought this to my attention because I was so enthralled with what you guys were doing and you kind of brainstormed this idea. And by the way, the reason you are here is because I know you guys are the truth, right? Like there's a lot of people out there, whatever they're doing, that's fine. But I'm going to talk to my audience, the science flipping audience, about what you guys put together. You put together something that you're naming the REI Masters, and it is very specific about sales and negotiating. It is not marketing and strategies and lists. It is true negotiating. When you get in front of a seller on the phone or in person, you are putting together those 2 days with the REI Masters, yourself, Mike, and others in your organization to help people either get going and have confidence getting their first deal, or even take someone who's, you know, doing 2, 5, 10 deals a month and figure out how to get more margin per deal, or even, you know, scale from 5 deals a month to 10 deals a month. And this is genius, right? Like I want you on here because you're the truth. Mike's the truth. The entire company is. You guys are the real deal. And when I put my name behind it, it's because I genuinely want to help those listening, or
Yep.
if you're watching this video on YouTube or Facebook or wherever you may watch it, you know, the REI Masters, Scott and Mike, they actually are going to be able to help move your needle. I know because I just spent a day with them at the end of last year, and I took stuff home that we've been able to change. And quite literally, we just funded a deal, and it was a $40,000 deal, right? And so that is a big thing that we've been able to move. And I want people to know what you kind of are putting together, and where it is and what it looks like, because this is really important. This is quite frankly everything. You know, I just had, you know, I have a small group that I coach here in Phoenix. There's 3 guys in there, and we just spent the better part of an hour and a half reviewing being in front of a seller and how you can actually get them to go pen to paper when you have all the other competition around. So talk a little bit about REI Masters, where it is, what it's about, because people watching this or listening to this, you need to be there. That is for damn sure.
Cool. Yeah. So number one, I'm really excited about this. So I'm not someone that really puts out a lot of products, right? I'm not someone that really does that. I run my business. I probably have enough people that want to buy me coffee and lunch that I could not buy myself coffee or lunch for the rest of the year. But unfortunately, I just can't get to all of that, right? So I started looking at what it is that people are struggling with the most. And I think we both agree acquisitions is the backbone, right? You can get leads. You can go drive for dollars and get leads. But what do you do when that seller actually calls you? What do you do if you knock on that door? And there's a lot of people out there like, well, just start talking to them. Well, if it was that easy, everybody would do it, right? You have to have that confidence, and you have to be able to know what you're doing when you talk to these people, because there are certain ways that are going to turn off your sales approach real quick when they tell you to get out of the house. We've been kicked out of houses. It's not fun, but did you try that one last spin to try to stay in that house a little bit longer? Just your one last thing, right? So what we decided we wanted to do is we didn't want to put together something that was a mastermind. You have a mastermind, right? You've got one, you run, and that is great for people that are scaling their businesses and trying to get going. But this here is sales and acquisitions. That's all it is, right? We are going to focus 2 days, 100% on that. And my thing is, I looked at all the sales and acquisitions trainings that are out there. There's a lot of them. And a lot of them are really good. One of my friends has one. But the thing that I see is missing is a lot of those, you sit in a room with 200 people and watch a PowerPoint presentation. Now, let's be honest, you've got short-term memory and long-term memory, right? And this is my non-scientific reason, but you watch a PowerPoint, it's just in and out so quick. You may remember it while you're fired up in the room, but you take these notes and you go home and you start reading the notes and you're like, oh my God, what did I mean by this? And you don't remember it. You don't retain it all. You may retain 20% out of the whole 2 days. With us, we're ditching the PowerPoint. We're going to be doing a full-on role-playing sales and acquisitions training. You're going to bring leads to this, and we're going to help you close them. You're going to be sitting in the room, and you're going to be role-playing with people that are in the room, like-minded individuals. You're going to be having basically fun for 2 days, but we're going to cater the event to what the people in the room need. So prior to the event, everyone will send us a video, just real quick, that just says, hey, based on acquisitions, here are what I believe my strengths to be and my weaknesses to be. Now, you may not know all of them, but we're going to take the weaknesses of everybody that's in the room, and we're going to build the 2-day training based on that. So we will never have 2 trainings that are the same. We're not going to recycle a PowerPoint for 10 years. We're just not going to do it, because that's not helping people. We want them to have 100% of the time for 2 days focused on what they need help with, right? We don't want them to have 2 to 3 takeaways. We want them to leave after the 2 days exhausted, because we worked so long, you're talking all day long, probably losing your voice, but you leave exhausted but excited. And then you have the ability to go back and start implementing these things, because we've repeated it so much over 2 days that you've been practicing. Now it's in your head. You're ready to go. You go back and you start implementing all these processes, and you start seeing, your spreads getting larger. You start seeing how easy it is to get pen to paper. We always call it pen to paper in my office, right? Are you going to get pen to paper right now? That's the goal. That is a sales rep's goal. Their job is not to baby stuff in the end. They get pen to paper, they pass off the contract, pen to paper, pass off the contract, because they have one goal. They're commission-based to get out there, get those contracts signed, and get it for the largest spread possible. So we're going to take what we've done with my company and open that up over 2 days and just get that into everyone's head, answer every question, acquisitions related. But we are not going to be answering business questions, because this is not a business mastermind. This is full-on acquisition. So people actually can feel safe sending their acquisitions team to this too, because we're not going to train the business. So we're not going to train your competitors in the room, right? So they can come in and say, hey, how'd you get leads? No, talk to your boss when you get back. This is acquisitions focused. Let's get back on task and let's keep going. And we're not even letting these guys out. We're going to pretty much lock us all in the room. They're not even going out for lunch, man. Lunch is coming into us, and we're going to be sitting in there working through lunch, spitting food at each other while we role play. It's going to be a fun time, and I'm really excited about this.
Well, I think that the key here, dude, is you really learn by doing, right? And it's one thing to, I'm a perfect example of this. I could sit there and memorize what I needed to memorize for that test in the morning, regurgitate it, and literally when it is over, I would get my B or B plus, because that's the student I was, and I'm done. Like, that was it. Like, I forgot it. I didn't need it any longer. I needed to pass the test.
But you just
that didn't do me any good. There was no longevity to what I just learned. Yeah. I had the ability to just memorize it and be done. But when I am in the middle of something, and by the way, when I fuck up and make a mistake, ultimately that is really when I learn, because I never want to go through that again, whether I lost the deal or maybe overpaid or I got beat out in whatever that case may be. That's when I'm learning. And what you're going to do, and why I think this is so brilliant, everyone listening to this or watching this must get there. Send me you're somewhere on this video, you're going to see REI Masters, you're going to see a promo code TSOF. Use that. He's going to hook you up. But send me a message. Let's talk this through, because this is going to be like on no other 2-day intensive ever. It is role playing. You aren't just going to sit behind a desk. And that's what really moves your needle, is like experience, repetition, getting out there and getting challenged. And I'll tell you, when I grew up in sales, door-to-door business sales, selling credit card processing, the biggest key was every morning we had to come in the office and we had to do pitches together for 30 minutes. So we would rotate people and we overcome objections. And that's how you get good at being able to say what you want to say. Like when I teach sales or I teach scripting, people are like, wow, that's so easy for you. I've been doing this for 12 years. It better be easy for me, right? And you're bringing this to them. And you're basically saying, get around us, the best in the business. And in large part you are. Let us teach you, but not just teach you. Let you do what we are showing you how to do it, right? And I think that's the biggest discrepancy when people have intensives, when people have, whatever they want, big events, it's usually, someone talking at them versus it becoming engaging and them actually participating. That's where you learn.
And one thing you just said, that's a good point. So you said big events, right? So a lot of people try to shove 200 to 1,000 people in a room. This is going to be a maximum of 40 people. So it is going to be maximum 40 people in this room. And we're not going to do the whole, hey, I happen to find other seats. Hey, I got a bigger room. We're not going to pull that, right? Because we don't want to go over that point, because we want everyone to get the best experience possible. I mean, honestly, I plan on leaving this thing probably sick, because I'm going to work so hard over these days, just talking all day long, trying to get people going. And if that means we're done and we're still sitting, having a drink in the evening, still talking about this stuff, this is everyone's time to learn this. And we want everyone to get as much as they can, especially if their boss sent them, right? We don't want them going back to their boss. They're like, what'd you learn? Not much. We don't want that. We want you to go back, and we want your boss to immediately see a change in you. Or we want to give the business owners the ability to take this and potentially train this to their team and start instilling in them. Then they say, you know what? We're just going to send the team there because let's have them get it right from the source. We're
That's right.
we're shooting to be something completely different than everything out there. And, you know, interaction is the biggest thing. And sitting in a seat, falling asleep 4 hours in just does not work, right? You got to be up and about, and you got to be learning. Because when you're doing sales, if you see my office right now, dude, people just keep walking around on their phones out here right now. Like,
Yeah.
that's what they do. I mean, all of my sales guys' desks are together, like in a group, but all of them are all over the office. Just got their phones up to their ear or their Bluetooth in, and they're walking around. They
Yeah.
pace like crazy. So we want to get people doing that. We want to get you up and about, get your blood flowing versus just sitting.
Yeah, motion creates emotion, right? And so if you're up and you're walking around, you have energy, your blood's flowing, and the way you're talking is different. You're not, yes, I'm interested in buying your home. You're, yes, I absolutely am interested in buying your home as a seller, right?
Yeah.
And I think the reason why you're here, dude, is because I believe in this so much. By the way, my team is going. And again, somewhere on here, you're going to see a promo code, Science of TSOF, REI Masters, but I want you to send me a message. Let's talk first, because I want to make sure the right people are going to be in his room. Like he said, like, it's not 500, 1,000, 2,000 people. There's going to be 40 people in the room. And if you're listening to me and you follow me, I want you to send me a message, whether it's on YouTube or Facebook or Instagram, send me a message and let me talk to you. Let me make sure this is right for you, because there's really two phases. There's you're doing the 101 model, which is people just kind of getting into the industry, really haven't had much sales training. And then you're doing the 202 model, which is, you know, people that are at a certain level, they're doing 2, 3, 4, 5 deals a month, but they really need more. They want more. They want a bigger business, so they need more deals to make more money. And so it's open to everyone. This isn't just for one person, but I want to make sure you're fit in the right, you know, the room. And again, you know, if there's only 2 rooms of 40 people each, there's limited seats. That's not a sales thing. That literally is because they need to be effective at teaching people, and they can't do that if there's 400 people in the room.
Exactly. And so the way we've kind of broke it down, so our sales 101, as you call it, it's important people are in the right group, because if they think they're experienced enough to go to that second one, we're not going back to the basics. We're growing off of that, right? We are going to that next level. So that sales 101 is called create the heat. So you're creating that heat within yourself to go out there and start doing this, right? And then you come back and you do the second one, which is called bring the fire. Now you're ready to just get in here, bring the fire to the group, and start learning. So we have the 2 different, we call them experiences, because this is not your standard boring listen to a PowerPoint. This is an experience. You're going to be sitting in here, not even really sitting. You're going to be in the room, literally learning and doing things. And it's going to be nothing, like no one's ever done anything like this. And I'm sure somebody will do it after they see how well it works. But ultimately for us, I mean, I don't care. Somebody else can do it. We're going to have something different, and we're always going to strive to be better with what we're doing.
Good, dude. Good. Well, listen, again, send me a message. If you're watching it, listening to it, send me a message. I'm interested. I'll personally jump on the phone with you to make sure it is the right fit, because they're putting a lot of time, energy, effort, money into this to make this awesome for you guys. And I'm putting him out there, and I'm sharing Scott with you guys in REI Masters, because that's how much I believe in it. I know it will move your needle. It definitely has already moved ours. And I spent, you know, half a day, better part of a day with his team. And it's already changed what we're doing. And so if I believe in it, you need to believe in it. And let's have a discussion about that. Scott, anything else that you want to leave the people with? Is REIMasters.com. Again, if you use that promo code right here, TSOF, they're going to hook you up. Anything else we need to, let them know?
Website's thereimasters.com. The event, our first one's going to be in April. So the Sales 101 experience is going to be April 6th and 7th. And then the second one up, so your Sales 201 experience is going to be the 9th and 10th of April. So the same week. It's going to be in Austin, Texas. So instead of having everyone fly to California to us, even though our weather's great here, we're still going to go meet people in the middle, right? So we're going to go meet everyone in Austin, and we are going to just go there, start hitting everything, and see what we can do for everybody. So it's going to be a good time.
Love it, dude. And what we'll do is, well, I'll save some of the secrets for later, but send me a message. Let me get on the phone with you. Let me make sure it's a good fit, and then we'll hand you off to Scott's team. And and you guys can ask them a bunch of questions.